What happens when royalty walks into a radio studio thinking they own the place? When entitlement meets reality and a microphone becomes a weapon? It only took 33 seconds for one of the most powerful princes in the world to completely unravel on live radio. 33 seconds for Howard Stern to expose the truth behind the polished image. This is the story of how Prince Harry got kicked off one of America's biggest talk shows, and how a single interview became the most explosive confrontation in broadcast history. The studio lights were already hot when Prince Harry walked in. Howard Stern sat behind his microphone, relaxed, comfortable in his kingdom of radio. This was his world, his rules, and Harry was about to learn that the hard way. Howard started the way he always did, friendly, casual, and trying to make his guest comfortable. "Prince Harry, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in today." Harry barely nodded. No smile, no warmth. Just a cold stare that said he would rather be anywhere else. "Yeah, well, let's just get through this," Harry muttered. Howard's eyebrows went up. The audience could feel it. This was not starting well. But Howard was a professional. He pushed forward. "All right, so tell us what you have been up to lately. I know you have got a lot going on." Harry leaned back in his chair, like he was doing Howard a favor just by being there. "Well, Howard, I have been working on projects that actually matter. Real change, not sitting around talking about celebrity gossip all day." The room went silent. You could hear the sound engineer's chair creak. Howard's co-host Robin shifted uncomfortably, and that was not just rude. That was a direct shot. Howard stayed calm. He had dealt with difficult guests before. This was nothing new. "Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come talk to us regular people," Howard said with a slight smile. Harry did not catch the sarcasm. Or maybe he did and did not care. "Look, I know your audience probably does not understand what I do, but someone has to speak truth to power." "Speaking truth to power," Howard repeated slowly. "That is interesting coming from someone who was born in a palace." Harry's face changed. His jaw tightened. His eyes narrowed. "You do not know what it was like. You have no idea what I went through." "You are right, I do not," Howard said. "But I am trying to understand. Help me out here. What do you want people to know?" It was a genuine question. Howard was actually trying to connect, but Harry took it the wrong way. "I want people to know that I am more than just some entitled prince. I have struggled. I have suffered. But people like you just want to tear me down." "People like me?" Howard asked. "What does that mean?" "Media people. You build people up just to watch them fall. You do not care about the truth. You just want ratings." Robin jumped in, trying to calm things down. "I think what Howard is trying to say is that we are genuinely interested in your story." But Harry was not having it. He turned to Robin with a look that could freeze water. "With all due respect, I was not talking to you." Now Howard's expression changed. You could see it. The friendly host was disappearing. This was getting personal. "Okay, hold on," Howard said, his voice firm. "Robin is my co-host. She is part of this conversation. You do not get to dismiss her like that." Harry waved his hand dismissively. "Whatever. Can we just talk about what I came here to talk about?" "What did you come here to talk about?" Howard asked. "Because right now it seems like you just came here to insult everyone in the room. I came here to promote my work, my charity, the things that actually help people, not to be interrogated by some shock jock who thinks he's important." The entire studio went dead silent. Everyone knew what just happened. Harry had crossed a line, a big one. Howard leaned forward. His voice was steady, controlled, but you could hear the edge in it. "Let me tell you something. I have been doing this for over 40 years. I have interviewed presidents, actors, musicians, legends, and I have never, not once, Had someone come into my studio and treat my team with such disrespect? Harry scoffed. Oh, please. You interview celebrities. I am trying to change the world. There is a difference. You are trying to change the world? Howard asked. By coming on talk shows and complaining about how hard your life is. That is your big contribution? Harry stood up slightly in his chair. You have no idea what I have been through. You sit in your comfortable studio, making millions, and you judge people. You are exactly what is wrong with the media. I judge people? Howard shot back. You walked in here acting like we should be grateful you showed up. Like we are beneath you. I asked you simple, respectful questions, and you came at me with attitude from the first second. Because I am tired, Harry said, his voice rising. I am tired of people like you pretending to care when all you want is a story. All you want is drama. Then why did you agree to come on the show? Howard asked, his voice getting louder. Nobody forced you to be here. You wanted the platform. You wanted the audience. But you do not want to actually engage in a real conversation. Harry pointed at Howard. You know what your problem is, Howard. You think you are some kind of truth teller. But really, you are just another person making money off other people's pain. Making money off people's pain? Howard repeated. That is rich coming from you. You have made an entire career out of talking about your family drama. You have sold books, done interviews, made deals, all talking about how terrible your life was. And you are calling me out? That hit a nerve. Harry's face turned red. That's completely different. I am sharing my truth. Your truth, Howard said. Right. And I am sure the millions of dollars you made had nothing to do with it. This is unbelievable, Harry said, shaking his head. I came here expecting a professional interview, and instead I get attacked. Attacked? Howard laughed. I asked you what you have been up to. That is not an attack. That is literally the most basic question I could ask. But you took it as an opportunity to insult my show, my audience, and my co-host. Robin tried one more time to dial things back. Maybe we can start over. Let's take a breath and try again. But Harry was not interested in starting over. He was spiraling now, getting more defensive, more aggressive. You know what? I do not need this. I do not need to sit here and be disrespected by someone who does not understand what real struggle is. Howard's patience was gone. Completely gone. Real struggle? You grew up in a palace. You had servants, private jets, the best education money can buy. And you are talking to me about real struggle? Money does not equal happiness, Howard. I thought someone as smart as you claim to be would understand that. You are right. Money does not equal happiness. But you know what? It sure helps. And you have had every advantage in life. Every single one. So do not come in here acting like you are some kind of victim. Harry stood up from his chair. I am not a victim. I am a survivor. Something you clearly cannot comprehend. A survivor? Howard said, standing up too. You survived being a prince? You survived having everything handed to you? Please. You do not get it. You never will. People like you never do. People like me, Howard said, his voice cold now. You keep saying that. People like me. You mean regular people? People who actually had to work for what they have? People who did not inherit their position? I have worked harder than you could ever imagine. At what? Howard demanded. At complaining? At giving interviews about how tough you have it? That is not work. That is self-pity. Harry's voice got louder, angrier. You have no right to judge me. No right at all. You sit here in your little radio booth thinking you are important, but you are nothing. Just another nobody with a microphone. The room froze. Everyone stopped moving. That was it. That was the final straw. Howard stared at Harry for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet but firm. Get out, Harry blinked. What? I said get out. This interview is over. You can leave now. You cannot be serious. I am dead serious. You came into my studio. You disrespected my team. You insulted our audience. And now you are calling me a nobody. So yeah, we are done here. Get out. Harry looked around like he was waiting for someone to tell him this was a joke. But nobody was laughing. Nobody was backing down. This is outrageous. Do you know who I am? Yeah, I know exactly who you are, Howard said. You are someone who thinks their title means they can treat people however they want, but not here. Not in my studio. So for the last time, get out. Harry's face went through about 10 different emotions. Shock, anger, disbelief, pride, but he could see it in Howard's eyes. This was not a bluff. This was real. Fine, Harry said, ripping off his microphone. This show is a joke anyway. There it is, Howard said. The real you cannot handle being challenged, cannot handle being treated like everyone else. Harry stormed toward the door, but he could not resist getting one last word in. You will regret this, Howard. You have no idea who you are messing with. Howard sat back down in his chair, completely calm now. I know exactly who I am messing with. A spoiled kid who never grew up. Now get out of my studio. Harry slammed the door on his way out. The sound echoed through the studio. For a moment, nobody said anything. Then Howard turned to his microphone. Well, folks, that just happened. Prince Harry, ladies and gentlemen, came in like royalty. So left like a child having a tantrum. Robin finally spoke up. I cannot believe that just happened. I can, Howard said. He showed us who he really is. Someone who thinks the world owes him something just because of his last name. The thing is, Howard tried. He really did. He started that interview with genuine interest. He asked fair questions. He gave Harry every opportunity to have a real conversation. But Harry came in with an attitude. He came in defensive. He came in looking for a fight. And when Howard pushed back, when Howard refused to just let Harry walk all over him and his team, Harry could not handle it. He went from condescending to aggressive to outright hostile in a matter of minutes. Think about what Harry said. He called Howard and his audience regular people who do not understand. He dismissed Robin completely. He claimed he was trying to change the world while simultaneously looking down on everyone around him. He called Howard a nobody. A nobody. The man who built one of the biggest radio shows in history. The man who interviewed legends. The man who gave Harry a platform in the first place. But here is what really stood out. Harry kept talking about being tired of the media. Tired of being judged. Tired of people not understanding his struggle. Yet he was the one judging. He was the one making assumptions. He was the one refusing to see things from anyone else's perspective. Howard called him out on it. Simple as that. Howard pointed out the hypocrisy of someone who has profited from sharing his family drama, calling out others for making money off people's pain. And Harry could not take it. He could not handle someone holding up a mirror and showing him the truth. The entitlement was staggering. From the moment he walked in, Harry acted like he was doing everyone a favor. Like they should be grateful he showed up. And when they did not treat him like royalty, when they treated him like any other guest, he fell apart. The way he said, "Do you know who I am?" said everything. That is the line of someone who has never been told no. Someone who thinks their title means more than their actions. Someone who believes they are above accountability. And Howard stood his ground. He did not back down. He did not apologize. He did not treat Harry any differently than he would treat anyone else who came into his studio acting like that. He set a boundary, and he enforced it. That is what makes Howard the good guy in this story. Not because he was perfect, not because he did not push back hard, but because he was fair. He was respectful at the start. He tried to have a genuine conversation. And when Harry crossed the line, when Harry became disrespectful and hostile, Howard did what needed to be done. He ended it. Think about the progression. It started with Harry insulting the show. Then he dismissed Robin. Then he called the audience people who do not understand. Then he accused Howard of making money off pain. Then he called him a nobody. Each time, Howard gave him a chance to walk it back. Each time, Howard tried to redirect, but Harry just kept escalating. And when Howard finally said, "Get out," Harry did not apologize. He did not realize he had gone too far. Instead, he got more indignant, more outraged, more convinced that he was the victim. Even as he was storming out, he was threatening Howard, telling him he would regret it, still playing the power card, still thinking his title meant something in that moment. But Howard did not flinch. He called Harry exactly what he was, a spoiled kid who never grew up. And he was right, because a mature person would have handled that interview differently. A mature person would have recognized when they were being defensive for no reason. A mature person would have had the self-awareness to pump the brakes before things got out of control. Harry had none of that. He came in hot, and he left even hotter. And the whole time, he never once considered that maybe, just maybe, he was the problem. The most telling moment was when Robin tried to calm things down. She offered an olive branch, a chance to reset, and Harry shut her down. He was not interested in peace. He was not interested in finding common ground. He was interested in being right, in being validated, in being treated like he was special. And when he did not get that, he lashed out, like a child, like someone who has never had to face real consequences. Because in his world, people probably do let him get away with that behavior. People probably do apologize to him, even when he is wrong. People probably do treat him differently because of who he is. But not Howard. Howard treated him like he would treat anyone. And that is what Harry could not stand. He could not stand being held to the same standard as everyone else. The irony is thick. Harry talks about wanting to be seen as more than just a prince. He talks about wanting to be taken seriously. But then he falls back on that title the second things do not go his way. He cannot have it both ways. He cannot claim to be a regular person while simultaneously expecting special treatment. Howard saw through it immediately. He saw the contradiction. He saw the entitlement. And he called it out. Not because he was trying to embarrass Harry. Not because he wanted drama. But because it was the truth. And Howard has never been afraid to speak the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. The way Harry talked about his charity work and helping people rang hollow after watching how he treated the people right in front of him. You cannot claim to care about humanity while being cruel to individuals. You cannot preach about compassion while showing none yourself. Actions speak louder than words, and Harry's actions in that studio spoke volumes. And he came in acting superior. He left proving he was anything but. He wanted to promote his work, but ended up exposing his character instead. And that is the real story here. Not what Harry wanted to say, but what he actually revealed about himself when things got tough. Howard did not manufacture this drama. He did not set Harry up. He just asked normal questions and refused to be a punching bag. That is it. That is all it took for Harry to completely unravel. A few basic questions and some gentle pushback. If that is all it takes to make you lose your composure, maybe the problem is not everyone else. Maybe the problem is you. And Harry proved that in spectacular fashion. He proved he could not handle honest dialogue. He proved he could not handle being challenged. And he proved that beneath all the talk about growth and change and helping others, there was still just an entitled person who expected the world to bow down. The fact that he threatened Howard on the way out showed he still did not get it. He still thought he had power in that situation. He still thought he could intimidate or punish someone for not treating him the way he thought he deserved. But Howard was not intimidated. Howard did not care about Harry's threats, because Howard knew something Harry did not. In that studio, the only power that mattered was respect, and Harry lost all of his the moment he stopped showing it to others. So when Howard told Harry to get out, it was not mean. It was not unfair. It was necessary. It was the natural consequence of Harry's own behavior. He was given chance after chance to course correct. Yet he chose not to. He chose to double down. He chose to make it personal. And Howard responded in kind. That moment when Howard said get out was powerful, not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. It was a man standing up for himself and his team. It was a refusal to tolerate disrespect. It was a reminder that no title, no amount of fame, no royal bloodline gives you the right to treat people poorly. Harry thought he could walk in and dominate the conversation. He thought he could control the narrative. He thought wrong, because he was not dealing with someone who would just roll over. He was dealing with Howard Stern, someone who has been in this business longer than Harry has been alive, someone who has seen it all and is not impressed by titles or status. And that is why Howard came out of this looking good. Not because he won some argument, but because he maintained his dignity. He stood his ground. He protected his team. And he did not let someone walk all over him just because they were famous. 33 seconds. That is how long it took from the first insult to Harry completely losing it. 33 seconds from attitude to explosion. 33 seconds to show everyone watching and listening exactly who he really was underneath all the carefully crafted public image. You cannot fake who you are under pressure. You cannot hide it. And Harry did not. He showed up. He acted entitled. He got checked. And he could not handle it. Simple as that. This was not a takedown. This was not a hit job. This was just what happens when someone who is used to special treatment does not get it, and the reaction tells you everything you need to know. A secure person would have laughed it off, would have engaged with the criticism, would have found common ground. Harry did none of those things. He went straight to anger and insults and threats. Howard gave him the platform. Harry wasted it. Howard asked him questions. Harry attacked him. Howard tried to redirect. Harry escalated. At every turn, Howard took the high road until there was no road left to take. And then he did what needed to be done. The image of Harry ripping off his microphone and storming out while calling the show a joke is perfect, because that is exactly what someone does when they cannot win an argument. They flip the board. They take their ball and go home. They declare victory while running away. It is childish. It is transparent. And it is exactly what Harry did. Meanwhile, Howard sat there calm, collected, in control, because he knew he did not do anything wrong. He knew Harry made himself look bad, all on his own. He did not need to chase him down or get the last word. The facts spoke for themselves. And when Harry slammed that door, it was not a power move. It was surrender. It was an admission that he could not handle the heat. It was proof that all his talk about being strong and surviving was just talk. Because when it came down to it, he folded under the lightest pressure. This interview will be remembered. Not because it was planned. Not because anyone wanted it to go this way. But because it showed the truth. It showed what happens when entitlement meets accountability. When privilege meets pushback. When someone who thinks they are above it all gets treated like everyone else. Harry came in wanting to talk about his work. His vision. His importance. He left having revealed his insecurity. His arrogance. His inability to handle even mild criticism. That was not Howard's fault. That was Harry's choice. Every word. Every reaction. Every escalation. All Harry. And Howard? Howard just did his job. He asked questions. He listened. He pushed back when appropriate, and when his guest became abusive, he ended it. That is not controversial. That is not unfair. That is just basic respect. Something Harry clearly struggled to understand. So yeah, Prince Harry got kicked off Howard Stern's show. But he was not kicked off for no reason. He was kicked off because he earned it. Because he acted like someone who deserved to be shown the door. And Howard gave him exactly what he deserved. Nothing more. Nothing less. Just honest, direct consequences for his own behavior. And sometimes, that is all it takes to expose who someone really is. The lesson here is clear. Respect is earned, not given. And no amount of privilege can substitute for basic human decency. Harry learned that the hard way in front of millions of listeners.